In this episode of Akram's Ideas, I'm going to share with you how to make these pumpkin waffles, so stay tuned! Hello and welcome! I'm Akram Taggy Burris, and you're watching Akram's Ideas, bringing creative and crazy ideas to life. In this episode of Akram's Ideas, I'm going to share with you how to make these delicious pumpkin waffles. Yes, it is that time again. It is pumpkin spice season. And with that, pumpkin seems to be the ingredient of choice to put in all your favorite recipes. And as many of you know, I love brunch, and my favorite brunch time dish is, of course, waffles. So what if we took our pumpkin and mixed them into waffles? And you get this amazing brunch time treat that is just so rich with pumpkin spice flavor that you will be wanting it more than a pumpkin pie. And as it so happens, the recipe isn't as hard as you think. And with that said, let's get started. For our pumpkin waffles, you are going to need 2 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice, a half a cup of light brown sugar, 1/4 cup of sugar, a half a teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 4 whole eggs, 6 tablespoons of butter melted, 2 cups of buttermilk at room temperature, 1 15-ounce can of pumpkin, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. To get started with our pumpkin waffles, you're going to sift together your flour, salt, baking soda, baking powder, and pumpkin spice. And you're just going to stir that together. And to that, we're going to add our 1/4 cup of sugar. And again, you're going to just stir that together. And lastly, you're going to add your half a cup of brown sugar to the dry ingredients. Once you get your dry ingredients stirred together nicely, you're going to set that aside. In a large mixing bowl, you're going to take your 4 eggs and place them in it. Now you're going to want to take this to your electric mixer and beat your eggs. Once you have your eggs beaten, to that you're going to add your melted butter along with your teaspoon of vanilla or pumpkin syrup. And finally, you're also going to add your buttermilk. And you're going to take this back to your blender and mix it all together. Once you have your wet ingredients thoroughly mixed, you're going to gradually mix in your dry ingredients. And I like to do this in thirds. So I'll do 1/3 of the dry mixture, mix it all together, and then gradually add another third, mix it, and another third to make sure that the wet and dry ingredients thoroughly mix together. Once you've got your dry and wet ingredients mixed together, the last thing to do is add your 1 can of pumpkin. Now you're going to take this back to your mixer and mix it all together. While you're mixing your waffle mixture all together, you're going to take a waffle iron and you're going to heat it up to its maximum heat and be prepared for when it is at the ready mark. Now I'm using just a standard Belgian waffle maker. You can make these with a variety of different waffle makers. Each one has its own setting. Mine I just pretty much set to max, wait for the ready light, put in my batter, and then close it, and then wait for the ready light to come back on, indicating that the waffle is done. Now before I put in the batter, I'm going to go ahead and spray my waffle iron with a little bit of nonstick spray, and the amount of batter to your waffle iron is going to completely be dependent on your waffle iron and what size it is. I've found that one large ladle full of batter pretty much does the trick. And I pretty much just put it all in at the center of the waffle iron here. And then I quickly close it and then let it go until the ready light comes back on. Once the ready light on your waffle iron comes back on, you're going to lift open the waffle iron lid. And I'm just using a pair of silicone thongs here to remove the waffle from the waffle iron. I also like to add a little bit of spray butter on top of the waffle just so it doesn't dry out as we cook the rest of the waffles. And basically we're going to just repeat the process of putting on the batter, closing the waffle iron, waiting for the ready light to come on. And here are our freshly cooked waffles. The amount of waffles that this recipe yields really depends on your waffle iron size. My waffle iron actually ended up making 10, which is a perfect amount if you're feeding a large group. And of course, the only thing left to do now is to take a sampling of our waffles. So I have a plate here, and I'm just going to set a single waffle on the plate. And you can choose to top your waffles with some maple syrup, which it is very good with maple syrup. But I'm actually going to opt to put a scoop of sugar-free Cool Whip on top of my waffle here. And I'm going to take a bite. Yum, yum, yum. Now, these pumpkin waffles taste just like eating a pumpkin pie. No joke. And it's actually relatively easier than making a pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pies typically take hours in the oven and you have to make the pie crust. This one you can whip up one morning and share with a whole group of people. You can also freeze your extra waffles up to a week and reheat them and eat one a day for breakfast. This really is a great autumn brunch dish that you can make all through autumn on into the holiday season. If you try your hand at this recipe, I'd love to hear in the comments below how yours turned out. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Akram's Ideas, and if you did, be sure to give us a big thumbs up. Don't forget to follow Akram's Ideas on social media and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching!